Hi everyone, welcome to our Marine Knowledge channel. So today I would like to show some information about how to overall puncture valve of MAN B&W fuel pump. So what are all the procedure that we need to follow while dismantling a puncture valve? Everything I will try to give you a maximum information. Okay, we will open the dismantle the puncture valve now. So before dismantling, we have to remove the lock of the top cover bolt. So this is your lock. Just open the lock, and you have to open the bolt. So as I say, always use proper spanner, proper tool to do any kind of maintenance in any machine this. So now we have to open the top cover of puncture valve, and whichever you remove you have to secure it in a proper tray or something so that it don't get missed out. Okay, so this is your top cover and gasket cover, everything I opened. So once you remove the cover, this is the tool that we use for removing the air piston of puncture valve. This tool is nothing but a small bolt which is can be screwed inside the piston top. So now we had removed the air piston of puncture valve. So okay, so three parts we had removed now. One is our cover gasket, and third is our piston, air piston. So now we need to open the dismantle the other side of puncture valve. So whenever you want to fix it in a vise, always try to keep the puncture valve between two soft jaws. Preferably it should be a copper copper sheet, so it don't damage puncture valve. So once we remove the air piston, then we need to remove this seat and spring and the valve. So for removing the seat, we need to use a copper rod, so that copper rod or brass rod, so that it don't damage the puncture valve parts. So this is the brass rod that I'm going to use for removing the seat. So all you need to do is you have to fix the brass rod through the rear side of the puncture valve, and you need to hit it so that the valve can come out of the puncture valve body. So you should not damage it. That's the reason we are using brass rod. So all you need to do is you have to fix in a vise, and you need to hit through the air piston hole. So now I'm going to open it. So just hold your puncture valve in the vise and hit it, so that usually it will take some time because because of fuel oil it may get jammed or something. So you have to hit little bit more so that it will come out. Now I'm going to do it. Always ensure your safety, because this puncture valve is very heavy, and sometime what happen, it slips out, so it may fall down. So in that case you should be very careful. So you can see the valve coming out. You can see here, see the valve coming out. So yeah, okay, so I'm hitting it more, and the puncture valve is getting slipped from the vise. I'm fixing it again in a proper way, so that it don't fall down and it will be easy for me to. Okay, that's all. The valve came out, spring came out. So all three, the valve seat and spring came out. So just I kept it on the table. So the thing is, you have to inspect all the three: valve seat and your spring. So you can see the valve seat should be free of any kind of scoring, any kind of pitting marks and everything, and you have to ensure it's soft, that is free of any corrosion, and this guide should be free. so that it will move up and down properly when the air piston is acting over it. And next, for the spring, the thing that you need to check is you have to check visually whether there is any damage, and you check for the free length and you check it visually, it should be okay. And next, with the valve body, and for the valve body you have to check the mating surface. As I said earlier, all mating surface should be free of any kind of damages, pitting mark, scoring mark, like cracks or all those things. You have to see visual inspection, basically nothing much. So that's all. So I kept all the three. Now you must have understood how to dismantle a puncture valve. This is how you have to dismantle a puncture valve. So you have to see the sliding surface, you have to check the inner surface of the puncture valve. These are all the checks that you need to do in the puncture valve body. There, this surface should be clean, it should be free of any kind of scoring mark or everything, no damage, nothing should be visually seen. And if there is any scoring mark, you have to check for doing the possibility of lapping. So all you need to do is blow air, clean it with proper diesel, and all the surface, like this is your fuel oil return line, should be free of any kind of damages, like damage in the sense choked, not carbon deposits. All those things should be checked. And from the top, this is your piston area, piston liner area, you can say. It should be free of any kind of scoring mark, any pitting mark, or any kind of damages, because the movement depends, piston movements depends on this surface. If the surface, liner surface, is cracked, the movement of the piston will get affected. So that is the reason you have to check your surface, liner surface, piston liner surface. So this is you blow air on all the openings so that you ensure the passageway is clean. So next thing is this is your piston.
So this is your air piston which is in the puncture valve. So for mounting seal for this air piston, we have to one in the top and one in the bottom. So first you have to finish the bottom one. So bottom one, you can see here, this is your tool, this is called cone, and this is your sizer tool. So what you do is, you can see the gap, you can see the depth inside it. So this will go inside fully, this will go inside. So that means using this tool you can mount this seal. So how we mount the seal? It is very simple. First you fit the O-ring. There will be 2 O-ring. And for the bottom groove also 2 O-rings. These 2 O-rings. So this tool we use for mounting the seal ring. This is your seal ring. So first we will go for the bottom one. So for the bottom one, yeah, you can see the depth in the cone. This will go fully inside, and this cone will be having a depth only till this area. That means we can use this for mounting the top one and use this for mounting the bottom one. So I use this first. So first just put your seal ring on top of it, and take the O-ring top side, and just you have to fit this. You can see, this cone directly goes on the bottom side of your air piston, bottom groove. So it's now perfectly fitted. Now what I need to do is I need to push it. So the reason why we use this tool is, when we use the tool, the elasticity of your seal ring won't go. If you manually put, you may damage the size, and it may get damage your seal ring. So now I am going to press. Gradually you have to press. You can see here. That's all. So the seal ring comes and sit in the bottom side. So now I can remove this tool up. So this one is fitted, and next I go for the top one. For the top one, again you use the different cone that has end till this. You can see the inner side goes very little. So same like last time, O-ring, just loosen it, put the cone on top of it. You can see now this cone don't go more than this level. I put the seal ring again. Now I start pressing it. So that's all. It comes and seat in its screw properly. So this is how you have to mount the seal of a puncture valve air piston. So after mounting this, you need to compress it. So for that reason, you have this tool. This tool is called a compression tool. So what we need to do is just ensure there is no dirt inside it. You just press it. Just press and just keep it for some time. That's all. You keep it for some time, and that seal will get compressed, and when you mount it in puncture valve, it will go smoothly and it don't damage the seal. Okay. So this is how you use these three tools to mount the seal ring for your air piston. And for the top seal ring, there is one more seal ring which is in the top. So we have to use another tool for mounting this seal. So okay. So this is a seal ring. Next, so this is the tool. These are the two tools that we use for mounting the piston top seal ring. This seal ring. So these also will be having the same like thing. This is, you call it as a cone. This you call it as a sizer, and one will be what? Compressing tool. So these three we use. Again, whenever you mount the seal, always use the tool. Okay. So remove this thing. Again, all seal rings comes with a O-ring and a seal ring. So I put the O-ring now, top of it. So again the seal ring seal ring kept on the cone kept over the piston. Now let's start pressing this. Yeah, see this, the seal ring is in place. So this is how you have to mount the seal ring for the air piston top part. So again this one, keep it for some time. So that's all. This is how you have to mount the seal ring for air piston.
So now we have to insert the piston inside the puncture valve body. So before that, ensure there is no dirt, blow air, and now you can give some lubrication lube oil, so that when inserting the piston it will go smoothly. So now we are going to put the air piston inside the puncture valve liner. So that's all, just press it, so that the way you press, the way the piston goes inside, you can easily make out whether the seal is damaged or not. So it's already in. So now we put the gasket, new gasket. Always change the gasket whenever you are overhauling a puncture valve. Now put back the gasket cover, top cover, and put back the bolts should be always given a coat of anti-seizure. Tighten it properly. All four bolts should be in place properly with a locking plate. The locking plate should be ensure that it is in place, because most of the time what happens during dismantling, uh, people try to keep it somewhere and forgot it, so there is a chances of missing the lock plate. So always do not miss it. Always ensure you are keeping a drawing in hand, so that you don't miss any parts while assembling it back. So the reason why we need to keep this locking plate is like it don't allow the bolt to get loosened. It will keep the bolt in place. And always if there is any torque mentioned for any tightening of puncture valve, as mentioned in the manual, you have to follow that. Use proper tool. Every time I say, the reason why I say use proper tool is, if you use the wrong size of spanners, and you are going to damage your head of the bolt. Suppose if you want to use 13 spanner, use 13. If you use 14, definitely it will work. It doesn't mean it won't work, but sometime it will damage it. So to avoid that, use proper size of tools, proper tools, and make use of the tool in a precise way. So tighten all the four bolts evenly. Even tightening should be done, and once the tightening is done, you can lock the puncture valve bolt locking plates. Just fold it, that's all. That is what you call it as locking a lock plate for that's all. Just hit it, and you have to ensure the plate is properly holded along with the body. So okay, we are done with the top portion of puncture valve overall. So next we will be going for the other side. So tightening is done. Okay, finish. We are done with it. So next, okay, so locking was done, so we go for the other side of the puncture valve. So first thing, as I said earlier, you have to ensure your valve seat is properly. So once that is done, you blow air, and also you ensure the inside side of the puncture valve is clear. Check for any dirt or something, blow air again, proper air, so that all the dirt will be out. So okay, so I'll put the valve inside put some lubrication so that the valve guide can go up and down properly. You have to check this movement should be clear. There should not be any obstructions while the valve is coming up or down. So this is what you need to check while you are fixing the valve in place. Okay. So now I am going to fix the entire thing. Just check the movement of the spring. So valve is kept, valve has been inserted, and next will be the spring, and next will be your valve body. So fixing a valve body is very simple. Just the liner side, put some lube oil, and use a mandrel, any copper mandrel, so that the valve will get seated. And ensure you are not using a iron, not using a iron mandrel. Use always a brass or copper hammer so that it don't damage the valve seat, valve body. That's all. It is now in place, so you have to seat it properly. That's all. This is how we need to dismantle, inspect, and assemble a puncture valve for man BMW.
Okay. So this is how we have to dismantle puncture valve, and these are all the checks that we need to do. Like we have to check for the threads, check for the mating surface, check for the spring, check for the cylinder liner. So all those things you have to check and work back. So I will show you later how to test this puncture valve. So now I think it should be okay. But got some idea about how to dismantle and assemble the puncture valve.